Rodney James here for Cage Side Press. We're here in fabulous Las Vegas at the UFC Apex, getting ready for week 2 of Dana White's Contender Series. I have with me an alumni from Dana White's Contender Series, Steven Ocho Peterson.
What's up, my man?
How you doing, brother? He's a lightweight in the UFC, and his teammate from Fortis MMA, Ramiz Brahimaj.
Yes, sir. Yes? Brahimaj, yes, sir.
All right, and I heard you were supposed to be on this card, actually.
Yes, sir. I was actually supposed to be main eventing, fighting Miguel Baiza, but unfortunately, about a week and a half prior to the event, I wasn't cleared medically because they had found an irregular finding. It actually turned out that it was a tumor in my orbital.
Did that happen when the UFC was sending you through medical stuff?
Yes, sir, absolutely. It was the UFC doctor who actually looked over my MRIs once I got them done. And about 2 or 3 days later, he emailed me and he said, hey, you got to get cleared by a neurologist. So unfortunately, during that whole process, I was not cleared in time, and surgery is required.
And what is it exactly?
It's an orbital tumor. It's right on top of the eye.
So in other words, this is not something that was caused by an injury. This is just something that occurred.
This is something that occurred. This is something, I guess, that's been there. They're not sure 100% how long it's been there, but it is something that in order for me to progress in my career and fight again, it has to be surgically removed.
Wow, that's really serious, man. It's really heavy. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that.
For sure. Thank you, brother.
That's quite a struggle. All right, so Fortis MMA, you guys are doing great things in Dallas, Texas, man. Tell me what to expect from your teammate. You're here in support of Miles Johns. He's undefeated 8-0 as a bantamweight.
Yeah, Miles has been just grinding for the past 4 years with us. From Octagon MMA, we moved to Fortis and opened up that gym and just been producing beasts. And Miles is one of the top guys, bantamweight coming up, 8-0. Just he's progressed so much over the years. He's finally ready for this opportunity, and he's going to make the most of it.
Tell me about his fight style. What can we expect from him stylistically? Like, in other words, what kind of fighter is he? I saw him. I saw his body type. He's a small, compact, he's 135.
Explosive.
He looks explosive.
Explosive.
And intense. He was very intense at the weigh-in yesterday.
Yeah, and he's just trouble in all areas. Stand up on the ground. He's a high-level wrestler, so wherever the fight goes, he's comfortable, and he's super explosive everywhere, so he's going to be hard to deal with.
So as a guy who's fought on Contender Series, what do you make of this new facility and the new season? I know you've spent some time over at the UFC PI since you've been on the roster and gotten to take advantage of some of those great services and goods that they offer there.
Yeah, it's amazing. Everything that the UFC is doing is super high level. The PI is super high level. I love going over there, using the facility. And then this is, just next level combat sports to be able to have boxing, kickboxing, the UFC promoting these events, and Dana White's Contender Series here. It's just incredible to see how it's growing and progressing, and the UFC just continues to outdo themselves.
Ramiz, do y'all have any other teammates that are going to be on this season from Fortis MMA?
Not that I'm aware of. I think Austin Lingo, that might be a possibility. Not 100%, but of course, I think if Austin Lingo was to come on the show, definitely be fireworks, 100% with Austin Lingo. Oh yeah.
What else? We got a lot of cards coming up this summer. Who else do y'all have fighting soon?
We got Alonzo Menefield fighting this Saturday in Minneapolis. So yeah, coach will be leaving here. You're going home for a couple days, and then right out to Minneapolis.
Staying busy.
Yeah, staying busy, handling business out there, and then I'll be fighting July 20th. In San Antonio.
Yes, let's talk about that. I'm looking forward to San Antonio. Of course, you are, well, I shouldn't say a native Dallas Texan, but you're an adopted Dallas Texican now. And how does it feel to be able to perform for the UFC in San Antonio? Because I know you fought there before.
Yeah, I fought my second pro fight in San Antonio, and I love the San Antonio crowd. They seem to get behind Mexican names. They chanted Ocho, so I'm hoping that we can get the Ocho chant in the crowd, and it'll be a coming out fight for me here in Texas. It's a great matchup for me. I plan to go out there, handle business, and be a good night for me.
Now, that's fantastic. One other thing I want to ask you before we get off the line here is, you were a guy who was on Contender Series, didn't win your fight, but it was such a great fight that I don't know how longer it was. It wasn't very much longer after that. You went into LFA. You got you another win. The UFC went ahead and brought you in. What was that process like? I mean, obviously you come all the way here. It's a huge disappointment, right, when you don't get the victory. Tell me what happens then.
Yeah, so it was a back and forth war with Benito Lopez. I lost I believe it was a split decision.
That's correct.
It could have gone either way in my mind. Obviously he did the damage in the first. I ran into a couple flying knees, but it was like, this is Dana White's Contender Series. I can't go out there and try and like win on points and find the takedown at the right time. It was like, I got to go forward and have those war rounds, and that's exactly what I did. Dana was impressed. Sean was impressed. They told me, go out and get another win, and then we'll sign you. And they're a man of their word. They came through. I went out and got another win, got a TKO in the second round for LFA, and then Sean hit me up actually the day after Christmas. And I remember talking to you about this. He hit me up the day after Christmas, said, can you make weight on Friday? And it was like 4 or 5 days, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And then they ended up not being able to match me up. A couple guys said no, and it just didn't happen. So I took my time and just waited, and then.
And you said yes, and they remembered that.
Yeah, I said yes. I stepped up, and they remembered that. They called me mid-January and said, hey, let's get you on in February. Signed me a 4-fight deal.
That's fantastic. So you got your 4-fight deal, which is incredible. And then, because like I said, coming on this show, the intent is to get an impressive win, because not everybody's going to get a contract. You ended up getting a contract eventually anyway, so it all worked out. You kept your cool. You walked away from this experience as a learning experience, not bitter like we've seen some other people do. And they remember that. They remember that professionalism, your fight style, and you just told me something yesterday off the air. You want to talk about it now? Speaking of contracts.
Yeah, they re-upped my contract, signed me to four more fights. So looks like the Man of Steel is here to stay in the UFC.
Perfect. And we will see him on July the 20th in San Antonio. Man, I don't know what else to say except I'm super excited for that. I'm super excited for tonight, man. You guys, what other fights you guys looking forward to? Any, or are you just coming out here to enjoy yourself?
Ready to see Miles just go out there and do his thing, impress, and hopefully get that UFC contract by the end of the night.
That would be the cherry on top for you. Great night of fights, and then to see your teammate get on the roster with you, right?
100%.
All right. So is this guy a total madman in training or what?
100%. 100%. Ain't no stopping this guy. I think you need probably a gun or a bomb or something to stop him.
You might have to unload. You might have to unload to get me out of there.
Yeah, man. Because he's like the nicest guy, right? But then you see him fight, and he's just straight up killer.
There's two sides. We got the Steven, and then we got Ocho. Ocho's my alter ego, and he don't give a fuck.
Like Eminem, Slim Shady, kind of. You got the alter ego.
Yeah.
When you want to act bad. All right, again, folks, that's a couple of Fortis MMA's finest. Their teammate is fighting tonight. It's going to be an awesome night of fights. Make sure you follow Cageside Press on Twitter for all the latest updates. I'm Rodney James for Cageside Press.